everybody, welcome to another episode of Dulcimerica, which you might be wondering why I'm actually sitting at a piano as opposed to a dulcimer. Today's lesson is going to be about trying to figure out how to arrange a song for the mountain dulcimer, and it's also going to be a little study in scale degrees, chord progressions, and some things that you can't do on a standard mountain dulcimer, but you can still have a lot of fun with. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Futch, and before I go any further with the episode, I want to give a big shout out to one of my patrons on Patreon. That is Jenny B, also known as Pirate Jenny. Jenny, you are so much fun, and I really do appreciate your friendship and your encouragement and support. Over the short time I've known you, it's been a lot of really, really fun times, especially those times you've come out to Walt Disney World and we've gone parading around the place and eating sushi and whatnot. A lot of fun, and I want to thank you for everything that you've done for me in this Patreon campaign. So thank you. This is the big shout out, and I think I've done one before, but I'm doing one again just because. So if you're wondering what that Patreon thing is all about, it's a way for friends, fans, family to help support artists that they know and appreciate. And what they do is they pledge a certain amount of money per month. That money goes towards all kinds of stuff depending on what kind of art you do. And with me being here in the studio, a lot of it involves gear. Sometimes gear works really well, and sometimes it gets outdated. It needs to be updated. And so the funds coming in help me to update software, hardware, all of the gear that's in the studio. It also helps me to produce episodes of Dulcimerica. So it's a very, very awesome thing every month to have a little bit of money coming in so that I can just continue to make the art that I do full time. And if you'd like to find out more about Patreon, you can go to the link right down here. That's www.patreon.com/bingfutch. A lot of very, very special perks for patrons only, including the tablature for this piece of music we're doing today. In case you noticed what I was doing there, this is My Heart Will Go On from the motion picture Titanic, written by the late James Horner, and lyrics by Will Jennings. We're dealing with the music portion of it right now, and this is something I've been wanting to do for the mountain dulcimer for a long time. But one of the things that will happen as you work more with the instrument is you'll begin to hear pieces of music that you know are going to be kind of difficult, if not impossible, to do on this little fine box that we have that is based out of a standard diatonic musical scale. Diatonic meaning a 7-note scale, do, re, mi. Most folks have their dulcimers tuned in D, A, D, so that puts us in the home key of D. And that scale would be D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and D. Now we can also play in the keys of G, A, and the relative minor keys of D, G, and A, which would be B minor, E minor, and F sharp minor, respectively. Now, once you start listening to how those notes interact with each other, the distance between notes, called their intervals, and also what chords are available to us in those keys, you can listen to a song like My Heart Will Go On and know that, for example, at the end there's this really amazing modulation, a key change that makes everything a lot more emotional towards the end, and Celine Dion, who performed it, sings higher at that point, even though the modulation can be seen as moving downward or moving upward. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But right now, let me demonstrate what's happening. First of all, I wanted to bring this song to the dulcimer, and so I listened to the source material. Now, I'm not sure if it's just the version I've heard on YouTube or not, but it's pitched a little differently. Most songs come in at a concert pitch of A440. This one sounds like it has been pitched down or pitched up to match Celine's voice for whatever reason, or maybe the person that posted it sped it up or slowed it down slightly so they wouldn't get tagged by the YouTube police. I'm not sure exactly. But right now I'm kind of pegging this in the key of E. So the key of E has got 4 sharps. It's F sharp, G sharp, C sharp, and D sharp. And that scale sounds like this. We're going from E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp. Those are the 7 notes of the scale, and then we move on to E. So every single one of those notes can be assigned a number, 1 through 7. So each one of those notes can be used then to build a chord. Now, naturally occurring when you build chords off of just these 7 notes, the first fourth, and fifth notes of the scale will yield major chords. This is naturally occurring. So we'll have E major, A major, and B major. If you build off the second, third, or sixth notes of a scale like this, you'll come up with minor chords. In this case, we'll have F sharp minor, G sharp minor, and C sharp minor. If you build off the seventh note of the scale, you'll get a diminished chord, and it's a quizzical sounding chord that can be used for lots of fun stuff. But if you build off of those without changing or altering any part of the chord, you'll end up with the major, the minor, and the diminished chord. So we have available to us these chords, and James Horner, being the fabulous songwriter and composer that he once was, does not alter anything to make this magical music. These are all naturally occurring chords that happen inside of the key. So I started moving my way around, and knowing that there were no alterations, I figured I'd be able to transpose this out of the key of E into the key of D by writing down the scale degrees. So you do uppercase 1, 4, and 5, lowercase 2, 3, and 6. Those are Roman numerals we're using. And then a lowercase 7 with a circle, degree symbol for the diminished. And so I charted all this down, and I've got this piece of paper hanging up here that's got all that information on it, and I've been scribbling madly at it. But what I wanted to figure out was how he achieved the chilling and amazing emotional modulation, the key change that happens towards the end. So let's go ahead and kind of work through the basic chords here, starting off with E. Now I'm playing just the chords, not the melody or anything, because I suck as a piano player. Dum da dum da dum dum da dum da dee dum dum da dum da dum 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 dum. Very, very basic chords. We're dealing with the 1, 4, and 5 chords there. Dum da dum da dum dum da dum dum dee dee dum dum da dum da dum dee dum dum. Now he changes things up a little bit in the next time through the verse, just a tad. But we'll go ahead and move on to the chorus now. Dum 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 da da dum da da dum dum da da dum. Really, really simple movements. Da dum da dum da da dum da da dee da da. And then here we go, a minor. Da dum, G sharp minor, naturally occurring as well. Da da dum 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 da dum dum. And then you bring in the Irish whistle in that part. Dum da da dum dum da da dee 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 dee. Dum da dum 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 dee dee. Dum de dum da dum dum. I love that little climb he does in there. Dum de dum da da dum dum dum. Then into the minor for the chorus. Dum 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 da da dum da da dum dum da dum. Now we're walking up to that really amazing part. Da da dum, da 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 doo, dum dee 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 dee, da dee 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 da dum. So what has happened there? He's using the exact same scale degrees, the exact same chord progression that he used when it was in the key of E. What's happened now, however, is the song has modulated 3 steps higher than E to the key of A flat. Exact same chord progression, the exact same scale degrees, but being in a different key and the way he walks down to it, it creates a really awesome dramatic feeling. I'll do that again for you. C sharp minor, down to B, down to A, and then technically this is a C sharp minor with a G sharp bass as an altered chord, and what he's doing is he's leading the path to walk down to the F minor, which the bass tones would be this. And he's anchoring on that. The beginning of the chorus starts on the minor sixth of the scale. So with the key of E, that was a C sharp minor. In this case, the sixth note of the scale is F for A flat, and therefore we're getting an F minor. So he's just finding an ingenious way to move down into the next key change, and that sometimes is what separates an okay composer from a fantastic composer, is how you put these things together, how you make your modulations happen. A lot of modulations actually are half-step or whole-step modulations, but this is really something different, and again, he was just quite a genius. But there's also another little tag note happening here at the end, and that is an F sharp, A, G sharp, F sharp, down to F. And then we're back to 1, 4, 5 in the minor 6. To the minor 3, D, D, D. In this case, it's a C sharp minor. Sorry, it's a C minor, sorry. D, dum, 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 D. And then resolving to the A flat. So the A flat, the root, the name of the key, doesn't even show up until at the very, very end of that key change. Again, just super brilliant stuff. Now, I wanted to show you that because that's how the song typically goes. With a mountain dulcimer, however, we are not going to be able to, well, first of all, we can't really play in the key of E because we don't have all those extra sharps. So transposing it to a nice dulcimer-friendly key is going to be fine. But then taking the modulation up, you know, to up a major third from D would put us in a place where we simply can't make it happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you today how to just play without the modulation My Heart Will Go On from the motion picture Titanic. And then I'm working on a chromatic version of this for everybody else who would like to go ahead and put that extra oomph in there. So let's go ahead and move over to the dulcimer side of the studio and we'll get started with that. I'll see you over there. So we can't get the modulation, but we can get the naturally occurring chords that are happening here in the key of D. Now, if we were to modulate up like he does at the end of the piece, we'd be going from the key of D to the key of F sharp. We don't have everything we need to play in the key of F sharp, and the minor chord that we'd be looking for at that point would be a G sharp minor. We can't make it happen, so instead we just kind of play it through a few times, and it's good enough. Now, I just worked on this today, so I haven't fleshed out everything, but I can show you the basics here, starting off with the whistle part at the beginning, doing it on the melody string with a D in the background, or actually, to be more like the song in the movie, we would go to a B minor. Walking down with my pinky on the melody string to an A chord. G, back to A, back to B minor, A, different G chord here, L shape, 4, 2, down to your 101. And then start picking your melody out with our chords, 1, 4, 5 chords in the background. That sequence is going to be 1 to the 5 to the 4. So we're going to go. We're doing a partial A chord here, 4, 2, 1. And all you want to do really is just pluck the bass and middle string. And then pluck your melody string to get the melody in there. Move the index finger down to 3rd fret for your G chord. Pinky on the melody string, 1st fret. D, A. And, I mean, I listened to it a couple times. I'm pretty sure he goes... back to D. And what's happening is he goes to the B minor later on in the 2nd verse, but here it stays in D because it's not quite so dramatic at that point. Going from here, middle string is going to have your melody note, come down to your G, and then hammer on there at the 1st fret. I do a little to continue on. D, A, now you got your B minor, 2, 1, 0. Melody is on the melody string. Going back to 4, 2, open. Melody string goes open, bring your G in, a walk up to A, and then your B minor. A, middle string, and we're doing a G chord here, 3, 1, but our melody note is at the 4th fret. We're playing A here. Walking that down to A, B minor, using the pinky on the melody string, as a 4, 2 open once again, 4, 2 open. Open on the middle string and bring your 3, 0, 0 in, and then hammer on the 1 at the 1st fret. Partials. Sorry, I did that wrong. slide down to the 3rd fret on the bass string from the partial 4-2-0. You're going to sweep across that bass and middle, and then get your open on the melody, and then bring your index finger or whatever you're using down to the G. Partial 3-2, open. Pinky walks up from 1, go to 0-0-2, 1-0-1. Sorry. Open. Partial. Open on the middle string, come down to your G. And you can get your goes on by hammering on that middle string from the 3-1-0 G chord. B minor, 2-1-0. Melody note on the melody string. 4-2 partial. Open middle string. Hammer on middle string in the G shape. Walk it up to 4-2 open and then go to your chorus again. 2-1-0. 1-0-1. Open middle. B minor again. And play it as many times through as you could possibly enjoy and love. It's such a great, great tune, and I am working up a chromatic version of this to go ahead and push forward with that key change, although I'm not sure I'll do it in D. If it's going to be chromatic, I'll go ahead and maybe key it right up to the original key, which I believe is E, which then modulates to A flat. So I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you can get something out of it. There was a lot of information here. It was coming at you like arrows in an Indiana Jones adventure attraction run-through. But it's all good stuff to know, and it always helps to understand music theory basics, because from there, you can take the world's greatest song collection in your head and in your heart and make it come out of your fingertips on your instrument. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Until next time, this is Big Futch saying, my heart will go on for all of you.
king of the world!